extra 1,000 per month. You want to diversify. Can't diversify 1,000. It's too small. Too easy. Can't diversify. Yeah. No. Can't diversify. Break it down 1,000. So there's a I say don't put all eggs in one. But you have 1,000, you have half an egg. So what do you mean you're gonna diversify, you're gonna put it in multiple baskets, half an egg? No. It's for people with big money. That won't work. Yeah, and I'll give you a personal example. A couple of goals. My wife wants a white wedding. So I haven't done what wedding. I said, not yet. Right? The house we stay in is very, very small. You can't even hold a home church during the weekend. You'd love to. Yeah? Now, personally, I've had a lot of debts. And in no time, my son will be wanting to go to school and then wanting to go to private. Private school is expensive. Now, check this out. Wedding, education, debts, and home purchase. I'm telling you to diversify. Let's say then I have an extra, I change a job and then I go to another one, they give me an extra 2,000 per month. 4 important goals. So you want me to break down 2,000, 500, 500, 500, 500. That's not mine. You can't do anything. Like the debts alone, like I said at the bank, when you deposit for 5 years, they only give you 13%. But the loans is like 33%. So now if I put in 500 rand, it's going backwards. Like if you have a loan, you pay, go check it. If you have a loan, you pay 3,000 per month. Go check the breakdown of what that 3,000 constitutes. Now you'll see that 3,000, over 50%, call me every time you check it, over 50% is the interest. So you're not doing anything. Over 50% is the interest, 20% is the administration cost, the insurance, and what. Now after 3,000, you are paying the capital around 800 rand. Now that's why it takes you 7 years to pay a personal loan.
He worked out the formula.
We worked out the formula, yeah. So you can see, so you broke it down and say, no, if you can't diversify, that's what I'm saying. So if then I have an extra 2,000, it's best just to hit one goal at a time. Everything do it minimal, but then hit a huge goal at a time. That makes more sense. Because now, let's say, in terms of debts, and then I'll tell you how I did it. In terms of debts, if you add in 2,000 extra, let's say that one day I said you pay 3,000 per month, you add in the extra 2,000, you're gonna finish it quicker. Yeah. Now after finishing it quicker, you don't go and fall out. No. Take that 5,000 and then you go to the next one. And then you go after finishing it, you go to the next one up until you finish. And then you'll be happy. I'll tell you.
Then why? So what basically happened is the people with money sell a pint drink to people without the money. That's what's basically happening.
Yes, there is the Instagram lifestyle. Now, if you see someone in a post Instagram, like I've seen, Thursday, I was in a restaurant with my wife. In the next table, this couple is getting into the arguing. What? Now, 2 minutes later, then they say, actually, I forgot to check in this Facebook thing. Now they say a selfie. Then afterwards, then they continue. In social media, people put their best foot forward. They are arguing. They don't nice. Now when you see them on Facebook,
Yeah.
Hey, people are living their life. Yo, you can hear. So people with money always sell people without education pipe dream.
Okay.
I'll give you a personal example.
Want to say something?
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay, no, I just wanted to comment on diversification because for me, diversification is not. It's just a risk management tool, and I think what the angle you're coming from is when you have extra cash and someone says diversify. Basically, they're just saying that don't keep all the cash on your side. But with what that example you gave, that let's say you still have school fees to pay and all that, then I won't call that diversification anymore because it's a risk management tool. You're trying to get out of risk. If you now invest in like shares which are volatile, then you're actually getting yourself into risk. While diversification is actually taking you out of risk. So the way diversification on its own is not bad, and it's not a scam. It's if you have a lot of money, you have investments in it. It's just saying don't put it in one place.
For the volatility.
Yeah, and don't put it in one company, for example. Let's say I'm investing in F&B. I can diversify, let's say 1,000. That's why I think you can diversify 1,000.
Doesn't
But
sound right.
no, you can.
It doesn't sound right.
Yeah, then
I get what you're saying. Let's say you have 10 banks, you have that 1,000, and then you decide that, okay, no, I don't trust, okay, let's say 2 banks actually. You have F&B and Absa. But you have a feeling that F&B's assets and the management within F&B is not good. Then you can split the 500 into Absa and F&B. That is a diversification that if it falls down, you don't lose 1,000, you only lose 500. So that's what I'm saying. It's you're actually just running away from risk. But that example that you gave, obviously that's not diversification. You're actually just getting yourself into risk by saying I have extra cash and I didn't plan for this even. Now I'm getting myself into shares when I should be paying school fees.
Yes, exactly. I agree. So you agree with what you say. It's risk management. Now, what are you managing if you don't have money to lose? So you can't talk about risk management when you don't have anything. Like this is, we are paycheck to paycheck kind of people. Right? Now until you have, like I said, my example still stands. Until you have 100,000 that you won't miss if you lose it. You have no business doing this thing. Yeah, no, you really don't have no business in this thing. Yours, the ends I'm saying, let's talk about debt management. So now my personal example in terms of this diversification, what. It's I was in a whole lot of debts, and then I still have to do all this other stuff. I have, don't mind, I'll share. We are friends here, I'll share. I had up to 900, this is 2014, 2015, 962,000 in debt, negative net worth, like that side, negative. Where I had a nice TSI, brand new. I don't even remember that blue. That's nice. The VW blue. They named it the blue after that. It's that one. They had your favorite car, BM 360. The Echo, what? Nice. Hey, I felt good. Even it was massaging me. I was from here to Limpopo, in no time. I was like, oh, I'm here already. I was in debt. I was in debt. Yeah. Now I had to do something. Now, then I made this diversification. Yes, no, I can't do that. I have to get out of debt. Now, after this thing started in 2015, now in June, July, in June, I had brought it down to 70,000. And it wasn't nice. And I had to do extraordinary stuff. Like I said, I had 2 cars there. I had also another car bought it cash. I didn't really want to count it, but yeah, essentially I had 3 cars. Now I don't have a car to my name. Hey, but I'm happy. And I'm fresh. Broke out, and then the cards and all that. Now, it's no secret. You don't listen to what people, rich people when they lie to you. It's focus. Now, from 2015 until now, I think I changed jobs like 5-6 times. Then every time I got an increase, guess where my money was going? Debt payment, everything. Then obviously, like I said, I bought those cars brand new. Obviously, when I sold them, it didn't cover for that day. I had to sell them, and then for the TSI only, I had 100,000 that I had to then do a personal loan in, and then I had to go pay. Yeah, it's another painful story. Too much money. Yeah. So it wasn't nice. It wasn't a nice thing, but it can be done. Yes. But by not diversifying, by focusing, focusing on the energy. At work, I'm lucky. I have those jobs where we pay overtime. So I'm even at work even now. I'm working even now. So I'm gonna charge them. Yeah, he was working Saturday. Someone gave me a call. 2 seconds. Hey, where's this thing? Hey, and search for the password. I send them. I'm gonna charge them 2 hours. They inconvenienced me. 2 hours. I was working. So now this thing then what? Hey, you do what you can. The thing with a lot of financial people when they give talks, they give it like it's one size fits all. It's not the case.
Yeah.
True. It's not the case. It depends. Yeah. It depends. Yes.
And I think to add on that, I think if you have to sell forever living, you can do that. Extra cash is important. Forever living, Herbalife, those are extra cash that you can do on the side. It's not for specific person.
No, it's not for everyone.
You get it?
Yeah.
So it's an extra cash that can come into your life.
Yes.
Without struggling.
Another thing, there was this lady I know. She did HR and she was looking for a job for a long time. She can't get a job. But then, if you ask her, can you apply for being a secretary or anything? The only job she wants is only being in HR. So some of the things we need to look at them in a different way, because if I don't get an HR job, I have to start somewhere. Maybe I could get, maybe if I become a secretary, I will go in that company.
Yes, yes.
But I don't know, it confuses me, but I want to be, because I've done something that, I just want to do that thing only. I can't go and clean or do whatever, I can't. You see, that's the problem we have.
Yeah. No, you have to look at where you are, what kind of extra income you can do, what kind of opportunities. Who knows? Maybe you can even learn, because you're talking about the forex. There's free information on the internet. Maybe you have time to go learn that forex thing, and then it can be your extra income and whatnot. So it depends on who you are, where you are, moving along. Now, yes, free financial tools. Now, as men, as the heads of the family, we have to know where we are at. So now, if you can go to that website, they give you a link for it. They give you your free credit score. You have to, and then it's for free. So they update it every month. They just told me 3 days ago that someone was what is that? He was doing a credit check against my name, and I didn't even know like who is that. But so at least they give me the information. I don't know who can I ask to take it further. So this thing, they give you all the information. Maybe you have like me. I had someone who works for Vodacom. They did an account under my name. Now then all of a sudden there I was blacklisted because that person stopped paying. Then I didn't know anything about it. So it was a long story that involved Altec and all that, but it was sorted. But I didn't know until I went to check the credit record. So the credit report is very important. So each and every guy, please make note of it. Make note of that, but we will also send it over or send the presentation to anyone who wants it. So that the credit report is very important to know. You have to know where you are at. And the other one, yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I think ClearScore. I do have a ClearScore account.
Yeah.
Actually, they send you each and every month your credit.
Yeah, a reminder. Yes.
Yeah, and they actually tell you it's updated now. This is your credit score. And I think the good thing about it can even tell you where are you going wrong in terms of your debt. It can tell you. The other bad thing about it, even though obviously, because I mean they're saying it's a free service, but obviously they're making money in some way. And the way that they're making money is, for example, when I open mine, they'll tell me, okay, credit record is very good. Consider taking credit. And you see, that's where it now goes wrong, because then they'll, for example, when I log into mine, they'll say NetBank has a personal loan, don't you want a personal loan? So it is a good thing that it can direct you, but also don't fall into now getting into, because if you don't need a personal loan, then why do you go for it?
Yeah, no, they have to make money. Like nothing is for free. So now they are depending on your greed. And they want to get you. Like even that thing on my bank with NetBank, on my application, so they show me my check account and with a 2-day notice. Then when I go to the last one, all of a sudden they say you qualify for 250,000 loan.
Yeah.
So it's advertisement. Everyone has to advertise. So it's a free service, but you know they have to make money. So this one also, I love it because it also has an application. So you don't have to really go to the website. You can just join, and then also this one, so this one they send you an SMS. If maybe you finish paying off an account and then they remove it, they send you an SMS, log in and check and whatnot. So also this one, then if someone checks your credits or whatever, they send you an SMS and say, hey, something is happening here. Please have a look. So these are important financial free so visible sharp. So basically it's free financial tools. So free, you can download it from your App Store, Google Store, iStore for free.
Just also add why it's actually a good tool. And that, I mean, obviously I can check my credit score, then how does it help me? The credit score is actually very important even in insurance. I work in the insurance industry, and if you go ask for motor insurance, you do check credit score. And remember, credit score is telling us whether you can actually service your debt quickly, how well you can service your debt. And obviously, if you have a bad credit score, your insurance premium will be very high because we are scared that you might not be pay your insurance or other stuff. And usually, someone who has a bad credit score, they in terms of managing their life, they're very bad at that. They can't manage their debt. And also, if you go for a loan, like a bond, this thing plays a huge role in terms of the interest rate. So I'm saying it's actually a good thing, because I mean now we might talk about credit score and someone will be like, but okay, then I know my credit score, then what will I do with it? So I'm just trying to help, like in that it's important for you. Actually, anywhere we now go for credit, you have to check your credit score.
Yes. Thank you for that. Yeah, and it also shows. Yes, it also shows per month how are you paying. Have you skipped payment from your Edgar's account in February and all those things are there, they're being recorded. If you are late with the payment, if you didn't pay it, or yes, where's the head?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add on what you were saying.
Yeah.
Some employers won't even hire if you have a bad credit.
Oh yes, especially in the financial industry, and then it's also spreading out, because I remember now in when I went to BCX for an interview, they even did a credit check to see a criminal record to say, okay, How are you paying? How are you managing your life? It's a lifeline. Finances are important to the family dynamic and financial planning. So now, this is basically the big thing. As a man, as the husband, as the head of the household, you should be on top of these these 6 big things: budget, debt, savings, investment, education, insurance. Like, you shouldn't be surprised that in a couple of years, then your kid is going to tertiary. And tertiary is expensive. Like, I was looking at some estimations that I'm sure they were done by the actuaries. They said in 2035, because I was checking for estimated time of when my son will be going to Asia. They said it will be around $1.2 million per year. Yeah. Without, what is that thing, residents. Yeah. 1.2 million without that. So, as men of the house, we have to be on top of this thing. Now, for me, the way I'm thinking, I did it in order of importance. And yeah, I don't want there's really no time to do all of them today. But at least let's do budget, and then next month when we meet again, we'll get into debt and savings. So let's get into budget.
So, I don't want to waste time, but I'm just wondering why you say insurance is not as important as maybe the first one. Or maybe you mean specific insurance. For example, 4 minus 4 versus 6.
Oh, no, 6. Yeah, oh yeah. That's vice versa.
It's actually 1
because
then the others follow. Insurance
You
is
see?
the second most important thing that you.
You see? That's what I say. The man has to be on top of these things. Huh? You can't say, I'll do the budget and pay off debts, and then the wife will take care of the stock fan. Insurance. So the man, what I'm saying is the order of the way we'll be presenting them is basically what I mean. The order of our presentation. I need to go to that Excel. So yeah, okay. So we all right, 10 minutes. 10 minutes will be up. Yes. Oh, you can open. Oh. Oh, you will let's go. So, okay, so it's fine. So let's just do an example of a normal budget, because a budget is the best definition of a budget is where you tell your money to go to. So a budget doesn't depend on how much money you make. As long as you're the man of the house, you should know where the money of the household goes, and then you must tell it. So really, a vision. I mean, I'm thinking if you're going to get married, you are taking your wife from some family. You say, come here, change your surname, and then come and show you where we are going. So you have to have a vision as a man. So now vision again. Vision is money. Money, budget. So now this is an example of a budget because I did some non-scientific survey and I've learned that a lot of people don't do budget. A lot of men in particular don't do budget. A lot of men do it like this, like let me get paid and then the debit order do their thing and then I'll see how much money I'm left. Now that's not a plan. You are being reactive, you are not being proactive. So if you are being proactive, you'll know where your money is or where your money should go to and what can you do to manage the situation. Again, on the budget again, there's no one size fits all. Now I'm going to show you a breakdown one. So this is essentially a budget that I use now currently in my household and I'll show you a general one. But the main thing is this is just a guideline. It's not for everyone. It's suggestions. It depends on your situation. Some things are standard. I'll show you that some things, however, other things are standard. So these things, it won't make you rich, but it will show you where your money is moving, so that you know what to increase, how to decrease, where to. Like other people, some things many people don't know how many times they even go to McDonald's, and they think McDonald's is cheap. Yeah? Like I was checking my bank statement like 2 months ago. Like I went to McDonald's like 9 times in 1 month. That's a lot of times. Now the number of check is like 135 rand. 135 rand times 9 is over 1,000. But then when you are swiping there 100 rand, it's like no, quick. Fast, full chicken, fast. Yeah? But then if you check from 30 days, I'm like, what? 1,000 for milkshake? Yeah. So this is just a guideline. So extra 1,000 per month. You want to diversify. Can't diversify 1,000. It's too small. Too easy. Can't diversify. Yeah. No. Can't diversify. Break it down 1,000. So there's a big option. I say don't put all eggs in one. But you have 1,000, you have half an egg. So what do you mean you're going to diversify, you're going to put it in multiple baskets, half an egg? No, it's for people with big money. That won't work. Yeah, and I'll give you a personal example. A couple of goals. My wife wants a white wedding. So I haven't done what wedding. I said, not yet. Right? The house we stay in is very, very small. You can't even hold a home church during the weekend. We'd love to. Yeah? Now, personally, I've had a lot of debts. And in no time, my son will be wanting to go to school and then wanting to go to private. Private school is expensive. Now, check this out. Wedding, education, debts, and home purchase. I'm telling you to diversify. Let's say then I have an extra, I change a job and then I go to another one, they give me an extra 2,000 per month. 4 important goals. So you want me to break down 2,000, 500, 500, 500, 500. That's not mine. You can't do anything. Like the debts alone, like you know, I said at the bank when you deposit for 5 years, they only give you 13%. But the loans is like 33%. So now if I put in 500 rand, it's going backwards. Like if you have a loan, you pay, go check it. If you have a loan, you pay 3,000 per month. Go check the breakdown of what that 3,000 constitutes. Now you'll see that 3,000, over 50%, call me every time you check it, over 50% is the interest. So you're not doing anything. Over 50% is the interest, 20% is the administration cost, the insurance, and what. Now after 3,000, you are paying the capital around 800 rand. Now that's why it takes you 7 years to pay a personal loan.
He worked out the formula.
We worked out the formula, yeah. So you can see, so you broke it down and say, no, if you can't diversify, that's what I'm saying. So if then I have an extra 2,000, it's best just to hit one goal at a time. Everything do it minimum, but then hit a huge goal at a time. That makes more sense. Because now, let's say, in terms of debts, and then I'll tell you how I did it. In terms of debts, if you add in 2,000 extra, let's say that one day I said you pay 3,000 per month, you add in the extra 2,000, you're gonna finish it quicker.
Yeah.
Now after finishing it quicker, you don't go and fall out. No. Take that 5,000 and then you go to the next one. And then in the after finishing it, you go to the next one up until you finish. And then you'll be happy. I'll tell you.
Then why? So what basically happened is the people with money sell a pint drink to people without the money. That's what's basically happening.
Yes, there is the Instagram lifestyle. Now, if you see someone in a post Instagram, like I've seen, Thursday, I was in a restaurant with my wife. In the next table, this couple is they're getting into their arguing. What? Now, 2 minutes later, then they say, actually, I forgot to check in this Facebook day. Now they say a selfie. Then afterwards, then they continue. In social media, people put their best foot forward. They are arguing. They are not nice. Now, when you see them on Facebook, hey, people are living their life. You can hear. So people with money always sell people without education pipe dream. Okay. I'll give you a personal example.
Want to say something?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Okay, no, I just wanted to comment on diversification because for me, diversification is not, it's just a risk management tool. And I think what the angle you're coming from is when you have extra cash and someone says diversify. Basically, they're just saying that don't keep all the cash on the side. But with what that example you gave, that let's say you still have school fees to pay and all that, then I won't call that diversification anymore because it's a risk management tool. You're trying to get out of risk. If you now invest in like shares which are volatile, then you're actually getting yourself into risk. While diversification is actually taking you out of risk. So the way diversification on its own is not bad. And it's not a scam. It's if you have a lot of money, you have investments in it. It's just saying don't put it in one place.
For the volatility.
Yeah, and don't put it in one company, for example. Let's say I'm investing in F&B. I can diversify, let's say I have 1,000. That's why I think you can diversify 1,000.
Doesn't sound right.
No, you can.
It doesn't sound right.
I get what you're saying. Let's say you have 10 banks, you have that 1,000, and then you decide that, okay, no, I don't trust, okay, let's say 2 banks actually. You have F&B and Absa. but you have a feeling that F&Bs are assets and the management within F&B is not good, then you can split the 500 into ABSA and F&B. That is a classification that if it falls down, you don't lose 1,000, you only lose 500. So that's what I'm saying. It's you're actually just running away from risk. But that example that you gave, obviously that's not diversification. You're actually just giving yourself into risk by saying I have extra cash and I didn't plan for this even. Now I'm getting myself into shares when I should be paying school fees.
Yes, exactly. I agree. So you agree with what you say. It's risk management. Now, what are you managing if you don't have money to lose? So you can't talk about risk management when you don't have anything. Like we are paycheck to paycheck kind of people. No? Now until you have, like I said, my example still stands. Until you have 100,000 that you won't miss if you lose it. You have no business doing this thing. No, you really don't have no business in this thing. Yours, the handsome say, let's talk about debt management. So now my personal example in terms of this diversification, what. It's I was in a whole lot of debts, and then I still have to do all this other stuff. I have, don't mind, I'll share. We are friends here, I'll share. I had up to 900, this is 2014, 2015, 962,000 in debt, negative net worth, like that side, negative. Where I had a nice TSI, brand new. I don't even remember that blue. That's nice. The VW blue. They named it the blue after that. It's that one. They had your favorite car, BM 360. The Echo, what? Nice. Hey, I felt good. Even it was massaging me. I was from here to Limpopo, home in no time. I was like, oh, I'm here already. I was in debt. I was in debt. Yeah. Now I had to do something. Now, then I made this diversification. Yes. No, I can't do that. I have to get out of debt. Now, after this thing started in 2015, now in June, in June, I had brought it down to 70,000. And it wasn't nice. And I had to do extraordinary stuff. Like I said, I had 2 cars then. I had also another car bought it cash. I don't really want to count it, but yeah, essentially I had 3 cars. Now I don't have a car to my name. Hey, but I'm happy. And I'm fresh. Broke out, and then the debts, and the 2 credit cards and all that. Now, it's no secret. You don't listen to what people, rich people, when they lie to you. It's focus. Now, from 2015 until now, I think I changed jobs like 5-6 times. Then every time I got an increase, guess where my money was going? Debt payment, everything. Then obviously, like I said, I bought those cars brand new. Obviously, when I sold them, it didn't cover for that day. I had to sell them, and then for the TSI only, I had 100,000 that I had to then do a personal loan in, and then I had to go pay. Yeah, another painful story. Too much money. Yeah? So it wasn't nice. It wasn't a nice thing, but it can be done. Yes. But by not diversifying, by focusing, focusing on the energy. At work, I'm lucky. I have those jobs where we pay overtime. So I'm even at work even now. I'm working even now. So I'm gonna charge them. Yeah, he was working Saturday. Someone gave me a call. 2 seconds. Hey, where's this thing? Hey, and search for the password. I send them. I'm gonna charge them 2 hours. They inconvenienced me. 2 hours. I was working. So now this thing then what? what you can. The thing with a lot of financial people when they give talks, they give it like it's one size fits all. It's not the case.
Yeah, true.
It's not the case. It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. Yes, sir.
And I think to add on that, I think if you have to sell forever living, you can do that. Extra cash is important. Forever living, you Herbalife, those are extra cash that you can do on the side. It's not for specific person.
No, it's not for everyone.
You get it?
Yeah.
So it's an extra cash that can come into your life
Yes.
without struggling.
No.
Another thing, there was this lady I know, she did HR and she was looking for a job for a long time. She can't get a job. But then, if you ask her, can you apply for being a secretary or anything? The only job she wants is only being an HR. So some of the things we need to look at them in a different way, because if I don't get an HR job, I have to start somewhere. Maybe I could get, maybe if I become a secretary, I will go in that company.
Yes, yes.
But I don't know, it confuses me, but I want to be, because I've done something that, I just want to do that thing only. I can't go and clean or do whatever, I can't. You see, that's the problem we have.
Yeah. No, you have to look at where you are, what kind of extra income you can do, what kind of opportunities. Who knows? Maybe you can even learn, because you're talking about the forex. There's free information on the internet. Maybe you have time to go learn that forex thing, and then it can be your extra income and whatnot. So it depends on who you are, where you are, moving along. Now, yes, free financial tools. Now, as men, as the heads of the family, we have to know where we are at. So now, if you can go to that website, they give you, I think, they give you your free credit score. You have to, and then it's for free. So they update it every month. They just told me 3 days ago that someone was what is that? He was doing a credit check against my name, and I didn't even know like who's that. But so at least they give me the information. I don't know who can I ask to take it further. So this thing they give you all the information. Maybe you have like me. I had someone who works for Vodacom. They did an account under my name. Now then all of a sudden there I was blacklisted because that person stopped paying. Then I didn't know anything about it. So it was a long story that involved Altec and all that, but it was sorted. But I didn't know until I went to check the credit record. So the credit report is very important. So each and every guy, please make note of it. Make note of that, but we will also send it over there, or send the presentation to anyone who wants it. So that then credit report is very important to know. You have to know where you are at. And the other one, yes.
I don't know. Yeah, I think ClearScore. I do have a ClearScore account.
Yeah.
Actually, they send you each and every month your credit.
Yeah, a reminder. Yes.
Yeah, and they actually tell you it's updated now. This is your credit score. And I think the good thing about it can even tell you where are you going wrong in terms of your debt. It can tell you. The other bad thing about it, even though obviously, because I mean they're saying it's a free service, but obviously they're making money in some way. And the way that they're making money is, for example, when I open mine, we'll tell them, okay, credit record is very good. Consider taking credit. And you see, that's where it now goes wrong, because then they'll, for example, when I log into mine, they'll say Nedbank has a personal loan, don't you want a personal loan? So it is a good thing that it can direct you, but also don't fall into now getting into, because if you don't need a personal loan, then why do you go for it?
Yeah, no, they have to make money. Like nothing is for free. So now they are depending on your greed. And they want to get you. Like even that thing on my I bank with NetBank on my application, so they show me my check account and really 2-day notice. Then when I go to the last one, all of a sudden they say you qualify for 250,000 loan.
Yeah.
So it's advertisement. Everyone has to advertise. So it's a free service, but you know they have to make money. So this one also, this one I love it because it also has an application. So you don't have to really go to the website. You can just join, and then also this one, this one they send you an SMS. If maybe you finish paying off an account and then they remove it, they send you an SMS, log in and check and whatnot. So also this one, then if someone checks your credits or whatever, they send you an SMS and say, hey, something is happening here. Please have a look. So these are important financial free or so basically it's free financial tools. So free, you can download it from your App Store, Google Store, iStore for free.
Just also add why it's actually a good tool. And that, I mean, obviously I can check my credit score, then how does it help me? The credit score is actually very important even in insurance. I work in the insurance industry, and if you go ask for motor insurance, you do check credit score. And remember, credit score is telling us whether you can actually service your debt quickly, how well you can service your debt. And obviously, if you have a bad credit score, your insurance premium will be very high because we are scared that you might not be paying your insurance or other stuff. And usually, someone who has a bad credit score, they in terms of managing their life, they're very bad at that. They can't manage their debt. And also, if you go for a loan, like a bond, this thing plays a huge role in terms of interest rate. So I'm saying it's actually a good thing because I mean now you might talk about credit score and someone will be like, but okay, then I know my credit score, then what will I do with it? So I'm just trying to help like in that it's important for you. Actually anywhere we now go for credit, credit score.
Yes, thank you for that. Yeah, and it also shows it also shows per month how are you paying. Have you skipped payment from your Edgar's account in February and all those things are there, they're being recorded. If you are late with the payment, if you didn't pay it or yes, where's the head?
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add on what you were saying.
Yeah.
Some employers won't even hire if you have a bad credit.
Oh yes, especially in the financial industry. And then it's also spreading out because I remember now in when I went to BCX for an interview, they even did a credit check to see a criminal record to say, okay, how are you paying? How are you managing your life? It's a lifeline. Finances are important to the family dynamic and financial planning. So now, this is basically the big thing. As a man, as the husband, as the head of the household, you should be on top of these these 6 big things: budget, debt, savings, investment, education, insurance. Like you shouldn't be surprised that in a couple of years then your kid is going to tertiary. And tertiary is expensive. Like I was looking at some estimations that I'm sure they were done by actuaries. They said in 2035, because I was checking for estimated time of when my son will be going to tertiary. They said it will be around $1.2 million per year. Yeah. Without, what is that, the residents. Yeah. 1.2 million without marriage. So, as men of the house, we'll have to be on top of this thing. Now, for me, the way I'm thinking, I did it in order of importance. And yeah, I don't want there's really no time to do all of them today. But at least let's do budget, and then next month when we meet again, we'll get into debt and savings. So let's get into budget.
So, I don't want to waste time, but I'm just wondering why you say insurance is not as important as maybe the first ones. Or maybe you mean specific insurance. For
Well,
example, 4 minus 4 versus 6.
Oh, no, 6. Yeah, oh yeah. That's vice versa.
It's
4 is
actually,
6.
it's actually one
Because
then the others follow. Insurance
You
is
see?
the second most important thing that you
you see, that's what I say. The man has to be on top of these things. Huh? You can't say, I'll do the budget and pay off debts, and then the wife will take care of the stock fan. It's insurance. Eh? So the man, so I'm saying, what I'm saying is the order of the way we'll be presenting them is basically what I mean. The order of our presentation. I need to go to that Excel. So yeah, oh, okay. So we
1% of total.
all right, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. 10 minutes will be up.
Because my iPad that I usually it doesn't confuse my
Oh.
it can open. Oh.
Oh, you will be able to let's go.
Mine hasn't because I'm struggling.
So, okay, so it's fine. So let's just do an example of a normal budget, because a budget is the best definition of a budget is where you tell your money to go to. So a budget doesn't depend on how much money you make. As long as you're the man of the house, you should know where the money of the household goes, and then you must tell it. So really a vision. I mean, I'm thinking if you're going to get married, you are taking your wife from some family, you say, come here, change your surname, and then they come and show you where we are going. So you have to have a vision as a man. So now vision again. Vision is money. Money, budget. So now this is an example of the budget, because I did some non-scientific survey, and I've learned that a lot of people don't do budget. A lot of men in particular don't do budget. A lot of men do it like this, like, let me get paid, and then the debit order do their thing, and then I'll see how much money I'm left. Now, that's not a plan. You are being reactive. You are not being proactive. So if you are being proactive, you'll know where your money is, or where your money should go to, and what can you do to manage the situation. Again, on the budget again, there's no one size fits all. Now I'll show you a breakdown one. So this is essentially a budget that I use now currently in my household, and I'll show you a general one. But the main thing is this is just a guideline. It's not for everyone. It's suggestions. It depends on your situation. Some things are standard. I'll show you that some things, however, other things are standard. So these things, it won't make you rich, but it will show you where your money is going, so that you know what to increase, how to decrease, where to increase. Like other people, some things many people don't know how many times they even go to McDonald's and they think McDonald's is cheap. Yeah? Like I was checking my bank statement like 2 months ago. Like the first, like I went to McDonald's like 9 times in 1 month. That's a lot of times. Now the number of check is like 135 rands. 135 rands times 9 is over 1,000. But then when you are swiping there 100 rands, it's like no, quick. Fast, full chicken, fast. Yeah? But then if you check from 30 days, I'm like, what? 1,000 for milkshake. Yeah. So this is just a guideline. So also this one will send you a link for where we'll be putting this file. So this file you can all use it as a starting point from your for your household. Now another important thing. Down. So basically this. Alright, it's fine. You go for the charger. It's fine. Now, the quickest way, like I said, for the budget, it depends on. So the budget is not generic, it depends on you. So how can you break down, how can you make your own budget? Easy. You go either to internet banking for your account, or you go to your bank and then you ask for your bank statement from between the 12th of the 11th of July until, let's say, the 11th of June to the 12th of July. Now that's about a 31-day period. So in that 30 days or 31 days, it will show you all your expenses. Now mostly and most importantly, your debit orders. It will show your debit orders, and then it will show you where your money goes. So remember, we have this type of thing and say, we like to say, I don't know where my money went to. Go to a bank statement, it will show you. This is where your money goes. This is why I don't like to withdraw money. I prefer to swipe, because then I can go check.
Yes,
So if I withdrew a lot of money, I put it under wastage because of I can't account for something I don't remember. So swipe for 31 days and then go to your bank and ask for a bank statement. Or if you do internet banking, you can generate it into a CSV file, open it up in Excel, go sit down somewhere, relax, and then see where your household finances are. Then from that point, then you can be able to charter a place to go to. Because another thing, the reason we fall into scams and these myths is we want money fast. Now I see Denzel is chilling in his coffee shop, like, I can Denzel, I can do. Why don't I have Denzel, man? I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I see him now. I don't see him. He was talking here about since 2013. I wasn't in there. I didn't see him, but I see him now. He has a coffee shop. Yeah? So it depends on your current situation. Let's just quickly go through this one. So in here, I made it simple. So you can work, you can see, you can work on so you can work on a MacBook, on a Windows machine. So let's say you earn, so this net total is the money that hits your bank account. So let's say 5,000. So now when this suggestions, it says on your housing allowance, you should be paying around that amount, savings around that amount, food around that amount. So now you see, the reason I say it's not for everyone. This is generic, like 500 rand of food for the whole month. 10% transportation, utilities will include. Utilities, clothing, personal and discretionary. Personal discretionary includes your stuff like your McDonald's and all this playful stuff. Now, mainly because we are black men, I would like us to turn our attention to the clothing section. So you saw I entered 5,000. Now remember, this thing is just so that you live a comfortable life with money in the bank. Basically, this thing says if you are making 5,000 rands, you really don't have business buying clothing more than 215 rands per month. Now, you're making 5,000, you're wearing, you want to go buy Carvela and all that. Where's that the rest of the money going to come from? You're going to go to your credit card, you're going to go to the personal loans in order to maintain the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. Right? The same goes for also the housing. The housings. Now this is the main one. Everyone has to have that. So savings, I included 10% tithe, I included 10% money that you stash. Because you know, as a responsible man of the household, you must have discretionary money in order. If something happens, when you're sleeping at night, then the kid is sick all of a sudden, you have to have money stashed somewhere. Now, so because of time, you have to rush through. But in terms of this, does anyone have anything to say or a question?
Can I take you back a bit? You spoke about knowing where your money goes and drawing your bank statement as a gentleman now. Now I'm sitting here, I'm asking myself, are you speaking of one income that is your income, or are you speaking of your income and your wife's income, which is your household income? And if you're speaking of a household income, are you now suggesting that we have a joint account where you can be able to control all this?
No.
I'm just putting it out there. Let's hear.
I'm not against the joint account. Let me scare you quickly. We had a joint account, my wife and I. Until the day that I found out if I die, because they open it in my name, but both of us are account holders, is the power of attorney. If I pass away, they freeze the bank account, then your wife can't access the funds. And what we did since is we've separated the accounts. I never knew that joint account worked like that nowadays. It's open in the name of the primary account holder, and the secondary person gets power of attorney, which means if the first person passes away, the second person cannot access any of those funds, including all the savings and things that you've accumulated, you can't access it. So if you do have a joint account, make sure of that it's not one where the other one has a power of attorney, but they're the 50% of the ownership of the account. Because if they're not, you're looking into troubles. If anything happens to you now, that money is, even if you've got a savings of 5.5 billion rand in there, your wife can't access it. Be careful.
Yes. Yeah, street food. Yeah, so nowadays the joint account it's also a bit, it's not really like joint account. So it's like me, I have a check account, then I can make an extra card on that
Yeah,
account.
that's
so it's basically a joint account. It doesn't work the way it was working back in the day. So they've changed it, and
Yeah, just
it's
make
like
sure.
a stock file type of thing. So you have to have signatures. It's
Yeah.
complicated. So no, on that joint account. Now, if remember here we are mixed. Thank you for saying that. So remember we have single guys and we have married people. So what I meant is, as the head of the household, so particularly when you're married, you have to know. You have to know where the money is going. You have to take charge. You have to put your cards on the table. I mean, this thing of hiding money from women, yeah, it's dead.
Yeah, it's not
bad.
bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah, you have stress. You have stress. So I suggest that, you see, this budget, the way I'm thinking of it and the way I personally did it, is I did it the way I was just asking my wife, hey, what are you paying there? What? Then I did it. No? Then after doing it, then I called her for a financial family meeting to say, okay, let's have a financial meeting. So we have one once a month before. So she gets paid on the 15th, I get paid month end. So we have it around the 25th. So okay, let's see. I'm more neurotic. I check money every day, so she can't do that. So on the 25th, then we have a family meeting. We talk. Okay, so this year we have, and then I said my vision. So this year, yeah, we can't get married this year because we have to do this, and this is taking our family forward. This, and then in the next meeting, okay, remember we said we can't get married, but we want to do this, and this is how these things are going. Oh yeah, my managed to finish off that credit card debt. Yeah, so we have extra money here, so let's put it that side. So we have to have a conversation with the women in the house. I'm not saying take this responsibility and give it to them. No, it's a couple thing. It's everyone. So you are the head taking charge, but then she has to get involved. So not like you go on hide and do things that side, and then she's busy with her own thing. For me, yeah, I don't think it will work. Again, not one size fits all. It depends. So now, if you have a wife who charges money like nobody's business, so you see, it depends on the situation. My suggestion is do it open.
Yeah, I always hear this say, whereby they say women are the minister of finances in the household. So they say if the man has like 500 and the woman has 600, the money in the household is 500. They don't calculate that 600. So can you help me understand this saying?
Yeah.
Can I answer that from Chief?
Yes.
Okay, Chief. Based on that one, who is the head of the family?
It's me.
Who must look after the family?
Me.
Who is the helper of the family?
My wife.
Exactly. So, if you want to live a healthy, happier life as a man, that budget, you must draft it based on your salary. Then, if your wife is working, sit her down, ask for her help. Don't come with the confident story. Because it's your responsibility to provide for her. For her to work. Remember, women, they need money for hair, they need money for nails, they go out even more than us guys. So, as a man of the family, otherwise she's going to end up reminding you your duties. That, no, remember, my father was buying food for me, my father was supporting me. You took me, you said you're going to look after me. So as a man, before you think of a man work on yours. You are the one who must do the budget based on your money, not our money. Our money comes after. So remember, she's going to come with her own budget. That as for me, I want to change my Brazilian to Peruvian. Because you know, women's hair, the church every time. She'll tell you about the manicure, she'll tell you about the church ladies gathering. So your money as a man of the house is the one which is counted in the house before we go touch the one for madam.
So in other words, you are saying when it comes to the money, we are not two, we are not one, we are two.
No.
Because the Bible says, remember, the Bible says the two shall become one. You see, what is mine, it's hers. What is hers, it's mine. So which means whatever decision we are going to take, we have to bring everything in the table. You can't draw a budget if you try to exclude her, if you try to exclude her money in your family. Remember, this is not only your family.
It's our.
Okay, I just wanted to note something up. The family dynamics are different, right? So each and every one of us are in a family which is different from the other ones. There are households where the husband is the one who's working and married a lady who's probably a receptionist somewhere, and then he's the main source of income in the house. And there is family dynamics which are, we find them mostly committed, where both of us are professionals. We bring around the same amount of money, where if you bring in 10 rand, I'm bringing 10 rand as well. That family dynamic is different. And then you come to where I am the entrepreneur and the wife is working. So I'm not working, but she's the one who is working. And though that family dynamic as well is also different. So you have to look at how your family structure is in the first place to say, okay, I'm the one who's bringing the income. And then when we sit down and do the budget, then we understand this is your money and this is how we're supposed to do the budget. Now, both of us are living in a house where both of us can afford. We're both professionals. So you're bringing money, she's bringing money, so that you can be able to support the family. So my point to Mr. Dugula is, your family dynamics will determine how the budget works. To say, okay, now we are able to sit and do the budget based on your money as the man. Since you know all of my money it's on commuting. I'm always in a taxi. All of my money I get paid, it's in a taxi. So we do the budget on your own. And we're supposed to say, okay, now me and you are working, we want to take our kids to private school. Right? Again, I'm a businessman, I'm making way over 200 million a year. She's a working professional, you know what I mean? Like, so family dynamics are the one actually which determines how your budget is worked on.
But at the end of the day, I would like to add to what he's saying, and also to touch on this topic, on this question when he talks about the Minister of Finance. It's that you are the Minister of Finance, regardless who is bringing how much into the family. You are responsible for that. Because whatever that comes into the Dugula family, I'm asked about it.
Sure.
If a car comes in and it's a stolen car, they find it in my house, who are they going to take? Mr. Dugula. You understand? So whatever that comes into my house, I've got control of it. There's no Minister of Finance. If I tell you about Minister of Finance, I'm Shasha. I'm from Minimum. Straightforward. I'm the Minister of Finance. Family dynamics, yes, and everything else, but at the end of the day, the finances of the house, I'm responsible for it.
I have a question. In your spreadsheet, you are saying savings is there. So, I mean, what if you have debt?
Yes. Yes. So remember, we still have to talk about savings and debt. So you can see there's no debt, there's no those other stuff. So come back next month, we'll deal with it further. But it's like I said, if someone says one size fits all, they are lying. It's no one size fits all. But what we're giving you here is just the tools to get you started. So it's better to start with a template than to start from nowhere. So what I'm saying is, this is a template. You can use the first one or the second one, and then together with that 31-day bank statement that I said you should go and print out, and then you see it here, note it down. Okay, what is this? Swiping, go check us, or doing this, doing that. Note those things down, put them down there, and then that is your expenses from your household.
Please check the calculations before you put that online.
Yeah?
For calculations.
25% is what?
No, that's 35 or 25.
Yeah.
Look, yeah, 25 is equal.
Yeah.
They change the 25%. So in the money, let's do it now. Let's do it
now, man, it's a formula, man.
Yeah, let me see you're noting it. You'll find.
Just change it to 0.25 instead of 0.35.
Yes. No worries. It's 0.35 in the calculation. All right. No. Any other further questions? We are at the end. But we haven't finished. So come back next month. We'll talk further about the money. Any other thing? Okay. So
one last question before we just ending up the topic when it comes to the family dynamics, and we still Tugulas. I'm the Minister of Finance. For guys who are not breadwinners in their homes, how do they deal with the finance meetings? For example, if Denzel is not getting paid anything, and Knox is getting paid everything, married, or for guys who get retrenched, for example. Yeah. So all of a sudden you lose your financial muscle as the man. Well, how do you deal with the budget? Or say, even if you're having the meetings every month like this because you have money, what happens when you get retrenched? What happens when you lose your job? What happens when you lose your legs? What happens when you lose your eyesight? How does one deal with the whole budget issue? Just the final point.
There's an answer. Most probably someone's not going to like it, but when you are the breadwinner, the man, then it's his responsibility to manage the finances. However, when he gets to a point where he can't, let's say because he lost his job, I think that's a discussion that needs to happen between him and the wife if she's the only breadwinner, because you also don't want to patronize the situation by coming and saying that it's time to do the budget, let's consider the budget. I'm thinking, I don't make any money, so why are you asking me about the budget? So they need to manage that relationship and say, and I think it would be fair to come from the man's side to say that I don't have a job for now, so I think for now you can continue with the budget, because she's not going to want to come up with that question to you, because that's also could be viewed as something else. So you need to manage that. In that case, it's more about the relationship, the communication and understanding that you have. But all things equal, you should take lead of the budget.
Yeah, just also to add, I think it's one of those things that you need to define the culture of the family. Because things change, I think that the hope in your case is that one day you are going to be earning so much that she can resign, So at that stage, your business will be earning so much money. If she's going to now behave negatively, when you be a multi-millionaire, you see. So it is during those times that you have to agree to say, as the Sibanda family, when it comes to money, which is also why it's important to do premarital counseling, because then they take you through the important things, like for example, sex, like money, like church, like how many children, when and how, like also, in-laws, how do you relate to them, and communication and conflict. So those things are very important. If you're lucky enough to go through premarital counseling, then maybe they can help you and start the conversation. If not, then you can also just start the conversation with her to say, okay, And like Mr. B was saying, from the onset, you can just set the context very nicely. That I'm aware that, you know, you are the one who's aiming at this stage. I'm also busy with some other things on the side. I can expose those to you, like at the business, so that you can advise. I appreciate your ideas, you know. But we probably need to have some time during the week or the month or the quarter or the year where we sit as a family to look at our finances, to decide what we want to achieve, when and how. You know, so if you agree to meet to discuss finances, you can also go about it gently, because you can start with very vague things. How many kids and when? You know, when are we going to buy our own house? When are we going to do this and that? Some of those very vague things. Then from there, then it will force you to come back down to the basics of saying, how do you do the budget? And then you are very open and honest that I'm aware that for now, everything is coming from your side. So of course, like in any other thing, I appreciate your input, but I also can contribute views there. You know your wife, you know what she can respond to, what she would take, but it's important that certain things be set as a family culture, so that when you are earning too much money, the culture is established. When you are earning less than her, the culture is established. When you are retired, whatever, the culture is established.
Let me just I just want to add something to what Joe said. When I was engaged, the first instance when after I was engaged that I wanted to buy something, there was guys standing around me and I'm on the phone. I'm like, Luis, I want to buy this thing, but it's about 250 rand. Can I buy it? The guys look at me like, why are you asking this girl for 250? She's not even your wife. I said, but if I don't start now, I'm never going to get to the point where she respects it and I respect her and we both have input into the finances. To them it was the hilarious thing. They laughed themselves into a frenzy. She did the same thing when she needed to buy something, not food and things, but when she wanted to buy an outfit for something, like, I saw there's something nice. It's a bit expensive, but I really like it. Can I buy it? There's nothing wrong with it. Even up until today, she goes to the shops, she sees something, she'll WhatsApp me. I saw this really nice thing, and then with WhatsApp she sends me a picture. And you know what the answer is going to be anyway. Because I'm not one for buying things, and she's more than one for. And every now and then, and it makes life so much more. It doesn't come to the point at the end of the month. It's like, where did this 4,000 rand go to?
I think the reason why I'm saying this is because when we have single men in the midst, and we have married men in the midst, unfortunately, I saw it happen to a couple of friends of mine which were retrenched when I was working.
Okay.
Yeah, when they lost their income, and all of a sudden they went from where they are, their family, their relationships. Some even got divorced. So it's very important when we're dealing with money as individuals and as families to understand that there's a point. You're not always. Let me give you an example. If you are servicing a debt of 1 million rands, like you were saying to me, or you service this amount of debt, somebody who you're not communicating this kind of information to will never take it as easy as somebody which you are telling it to. So it's very important that in relationships or whatever we do, we are able to come forth to say, hey, and it doesn't make you lose your manhood to be able to say, I can't afford this, or you can't, because what I found is we fall into a trap where, especially women, they like things, like you say, they like buying things. Even if you can't afford it as a man, you end up using your savings to buy something instead of just saying no, but we don't have money for this. So I think it's very important to highlight that when it comes to finances, that whether it's you who's making more money or you are not making money, but to create this unity, be firm in decision making, and able to take the hits as a man.
I don't know how influential is this type of marriage. If I'm married in the property or out of the property, I don't know how the role they are playing. Because if mine is mine, hers is hers, how are we going to draw a budget together?
what I'm saying is that I think that has also a influence. Because like now at the moment, I wanted to buy a second house, but he said no. It's good because we are in the property. And I felt if I was out, I was going to buy it.
Oh yeah, I think to answer this, it goes to what Kulilo was saying. As a man, you need to understand when you're going to marriage, what type of marriage you're going to have. Remember, the vision is with you as the man. Unfortunately, some were got into certain types of marriage, which at the time they got married, they didn't have this much options like we do in this current age. So I was lucky to be privileged to get married in this where you have all the options and you understand what it means to go into a certain thing. So out of community, in community, it doesn't really matter. The relationship is between two people. So if you're out of community and you want to buy a house and your wife says, no, we won't buy the house, otherwise you're going to get divorced after buying the house. So it's pointless. So it is actually the relationship between two people. For example, to personally share, I went out of community of property for risk management reasons. Yes, for legalities and in order to protect my family and creating a trust in the future I need to isolate myself and she needs to isolate herself from the family which we're creating in order. So risk management, that's what we say, diversify.
Yeah.
If she takes a risk or I take a risk, it doesn't affect the kids. Whether we're blacklisted or anything like that doesn't really affect the kids. So it's all about for those who are going into marriage to say, okay, what kind of family you want to create, right? And what are the risks which are associated with your family? How do you mitigate it and not? But at the end of the day, community of property, out of community of property,